It's the face that's fascinated historians for generations. Tutankhamun, the boy king who reigned over ancient Egypt before his untimely death at the age of 19. Since his body was discovered at this tomb in the late 19th century, historians have speculated over how he died, theories ranging from accidents to murder. Now, though, after supervising a new study that involved CT scans and DNA testing, researchers also examined 10 other royal mummies and found that Tutankhamun's father was almost certainly the renowned king Akhenaten. Those who carried out the study say it offers the strongest evidence to date on the boy king's origins.
When you look at what's published on the subject today, everyone has a different opinion because until now we've not found scientific proof. But we've used both CAT scans and DNA testing to provide final conclusions for the first time.
Experts in the narrow field of Egyptology are still digesting the findings, but some have already hailed them as significant.
The descendants of King Tut, 70% of British men, 70% of Spanish men, and 60% of French men all belong to this genetic group?
Yes, exactly. Yes, they share a common ancestor with these pharaohs.
Well, talk about those common ancestors. Where were they from? Who were they exactly?
We think they lived around the Black Sea or maybe in the Caucasus, but we don't know exactly where they lived. But this group was founded by one man who lived about 9,500 years ago in this area around the Black Sea, but we can't tell exactly at this point of time.
Is this surprising?
Yes, it is very surprising because we didn't know that this lineage of Tutankhamun came from the Black Sea or from Anatolia or the Caucasus, because it didn't came from Egypt. This was surprising for us, yes.
Is it possible that because the group seems to be so large and includes so many, for example, 70% of British men or 70% of Spanish men and 60% of French men, that kind of thing, is it possible that there are other famous pharaohs or other famous people that are in this group?
Yes, I think so. It's possible. Of course, yes. As it's very big group, we sure have some other royal lineages which belong to this haplogroup.
Is it possible that it's even outside of the great Egyptian pharaohs and maybe other people?
Yes. We know of the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II. He also belonged to the same haplogroup. He's also one of the famous ones who belonged to this group.
And what else is your research focusing in on now? Where do you take it from here? What happens next?
Well, what we wanted to do with this publication is to start the discussion, because I think it's very interesting to find this haplogroup in an ancient pharaoh, and we would like to know how did this lineage come to Egypt, and we of course are searching for the living closest relatives to this lineage by comparing the profile to the tests we will do within our project.
Well, we didn't mention the United States. I'm curious because a lot of the people in the United States, originally they've come from Europe. Mm-hmm. So have you studied the United States as well?
Well, we often concentrate on the European countries because our the customers of DNA companies from the United States do also want to know which European country they came from. Most Americans from Europe have British or for example German ancestry, so Western European, and I think there's also many men live in the United States with this haplogroup.
Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you too.
That's Roman Schultz, the managing director of IGENA, the company studying the DNA of King Tut.
The Chinese government in the last few years have released these pictures. There's hundreds of pyramids in China. And the Chinese government actually got the farmers to farm on top of the pyramids so that they wouldn't be so apparent by satellite. And the reason why, so here's the poor farmer that got the job. The reason why they were doing that is because they didn't want the Western world to know about these pyramids. Why? Because the legends that comes with these pyramids is that the sun gods built them, and that the sun gods were blue-eyed, blonde-haired people. So they didn't want those pyramids to be known by the West. They did find the mummies of these blonde-haired, blue-eyed people in the high desert of China. Over 500 mummies were found. All very tall, absolutely not Asian people.